Hello, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Book Journey Mentor Uncut. Thank you so much for joining us. Just getting some light in here right now. In fact, I forgot to turn my light on. There you go. No, it might be too late. Okay, so welcome to another episode of Book Journey Mentor Uncut. I hope everyone is well. If you're watching for the first time, please do say hello, tap the screen, show us some love. Let us know where you're watching from and if you are an author or an aspiring author. But first of all, who am I? My name is Daniela Blechner. I am an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing, and I transform writers into successful published authors. We provide bespoke publishing and mentoring services to entrepreneurs, business owners, and legacy writers who want to publish a book and become an authority in their field. We work with entrepreneurs who know how that their book will leverage their business and increase their clientele, but are time poor, don't know how to start, and maybe they need assistance through the process. Our done for you service takes the I'm practicing my pitch. Our done for you service takes the stress off busy entrepreneurs that you can be the author of a professionally published book that establishes your credibility, positions you as an authority in your field, and gets you in front of a global audience. I have changed up my pitch a little bit. Let me know what you think. But that's who I am. I absolutely love what I do. I'm passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard authors who have powerful messages and stories to share with the world. Now, last week I published my own book. Let me just grab it from the top here. Lock Down the Life. The first book that I published, I think, for about 4 years, aside from journals and workbooks. And what was great about lockdown, it afforded me the time to be able to do that. I also published another, I think we're up to nearly 20 authors who started with us at the beginning of lockdown, who have and are in the process of publishing their books, which I'm so excited about. So I want to say thank you to everyone who came to my book launch last week. It was so fun. The replay is there somewhere on my wall. I'll put a link to it in the thread as well. So thank you. Today, what is the show about? If you're watching for the first time, Book Journey Mentor Uncut is about offering a platform to authors, whether they're up and coming, whether they're established, maybe they might have self-published, maybe they have worked with a partnership publishing company like myself, or maybe they have been traditionally published. So it's just an opportunity for them to share their books, their story, but also the inner workings of publishing a book to get you a real good inside look behind the door. It's also a platform where I'll be interviewing experts within the publishing industry, because publishing a book isn't about one person, it's a team of people. So that's the editing, the typesetting, the designers, PR, marketing, retailers, booksellers. So I want to speak to as many people as possible in the industry to give you really good insight into that journey. But today I'm interviewing the awesome and amazing Sarah Roberts, who is the founder of Saffron, Jade. And she published her book during lockdown and had her book launch on the 13th, a couple of days ago. Her book is called You and Your Hair. Absolutely awesome book, The Ultimate Healthy Hair Masterclass by Afro-textured hair. So please show us some love, tap the screen, let us know where you're watching from, give her some encouragement. I think this is her first interview. Is that right?
Yeah. It is my first interview. Hi.
Doing well already. How are you doing, and how does it feel to be a successful published author?
It feels really good, actually. Just it still feels a bit weird, because it's been, I think, 30th of June was it was published, really, and that was in lockdown. But it feels good. Sometimes it doesn't feel so real. I kind of look at my book and think, oh my gosh, I finally finished a book, like my first book. So yeah, it still feels a bit weird, but it's really nice. Just a good feeling, actually, to finish something and to just be proud of something. So yeah, it's just all thanks to you as well for the support that you've given me and your team, like you said.
I could not turn that down. I was one of those kids. I've got really thick hair. I had the massive afro. I wasn't allowed to have my hair relaxed, so I was in between my mum's knees getting it brushed through or plaited or left. Eventually I was allowed to have a jerry curl, which I wasn't happy about. I was probably the only 8-year-old kid that looked like Michael Jackson. Not a good book. So tell us, what inspired you to write the book? And can I ask, is my sound okay? Because I can hear it echoing a little bit, I think.
I can hear you now. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you fine actually. So what inspired me to write the book? There's a few things that really inspired me to write the book. The first thing is about my own journey with. I stopped perming my hair in probably like 2006, and I only had a perm for about 9, 10 years. I wasn't one of those children that I didn't have a perm from 16. I was way in my 20s. Um, and when I stopped perming my hair, I just at one point I didn't really know what to do with it. So and I love reading. I love reading. I love researching. So I started reading and researching, thinking there must be information out there about Afro-textured hair, and I just wanted to learn more. And so in 2008, started reading more, started researching, doing a lot of reading. And then I started understanding about the science of Afro-textured hair and what it needed, and a lot of the information was against what I'd known and what my family had known and what all of the people around me had known, because no one else was telling me any different. And so I started following some of the things that was the information which is in my book, and I started to see my hair change. And so within maybe 6 months, I saw a different version of my hair. I saw curls that I never saw in my life, and I was super excited. And so I started then trying to lecture everybody about, all of these new information that I had. And eventually I just became like the hair lady at work, and say, what do you put in your hair? What do you do for your hair? And I would say to them, it's not what I put in my hair, it's what I do to my hair. And so that was part of the inspiration of just really wanting to share that information, because I wanted everyone else to see what I'd seen or to experience having seen the best version of their hair. And obviously, when I walk around and see people's hair, although I can't say anything to them, I can see that's not the best version. And I really knew how I felt when I saw that change in my hair, and I wanted that for others. And the other part of what inspired me is that there was so much information out there that I got for 5 years. I was just learning, being confused. I would try this, I would try something. And so then I realized that actually there is like a foundation to what you need to understand. And so that's what inspired me to write the book, because I wanted to share that information with other people so that they could see that and they could change that for their children, because there's a lot of us walking around with what I see as unhealthy hair, but that's not a concept that we really spoke about, unhealthy hair. But yeah, so that's what it was. Just wanted to share it with the people that I love, which is my people.
Yeah. Perfect, thank you. And what I love about the book, like you said, is that it looks at the science behind the hair and the whole, it looks at the porosity of myself. And when my family came around, we did one of the tests, which was to see how porous my hair was, I think. And you put the hair in the water, and if it sinks, mine just sunk straight away. It's like, I know my hair just absorbs everything. And then I've done it whenever like a party trip, whenever I've gone to a friend's house. Let's check the porosity of my hair. But it's good because it opens up your eyes to the fact that we can't treat all of our hair as if it's the same. Afro hair has so many different textures and different, porosity levels to it, and that you really break it down in the book. What I found actually during lockdown was Sarah's book was one of the best-selling books. She sold, was it 258 within, I think, 4 days of its releasing. It just went off the charts completely. Do you think there is a correlation between black women, especially lockdown and hair?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, certainly for me with lockdown, you've got more time to spend on your hair, because we all got such busy lives. And a lot of the time, what people say to me as a kind of a healthy hair consultant, I don't have time to do my hair, or it takes too long. I mean, a lot of it is about the misinformation, but lockdown has afforded people that time to think, well, let me do something for myself. Let me spend time on myself. So it's allowed you to kind of think about actually the health of your hair and the health of yourself as well, not just about your hair, but generally, let me think about myself. And I think a lot of people have kind of really thought about how can I, in this scary time as well, what can be the benefits to me and my health. And I think a lot of people have thought about that, whether it's their hair or their mental health or their physical health, which is good.
That's a really good point as well. And then with the hairdressers they shut at the time, it's almost like there's no choice. You're going back to basics and going back to really looking after self. I think that's a really, really important thing you raised there. So how did you find lockdown, and did you find many people coming to you for advice in regards to hair?
People are always coming to me for advice because for people that do know me, they know me as like the hair lady, and so I normally get a message saying, "Oh, my friend's worried about her hair. Can you give me some advice?" Or so yeah, I get a lot of people kind of coming for advice. And the thing is, because I've got my website, and I always say to people, if you message me about advice, I will give it to you because I love talking about hair anyway. It's like my happy place and my passion. So anybody that messages me, I'll message them back and try to give them as much advice because, like you said, everybody's individual. We've got different hair types, different porosity. We might have different damage. It might be your age. Some people are suffering from alopecia, stress affects your hair. So everybody's advice is different, and there's so much information out there on YouTube, which is really good. But because it's not structured, you get bits and bobs, and that's what I found confusing. You get someone saying use this for your hair, use rice water, use it, and it is confusing. So I always say to people, learn the basics, understand your hair and the characteristics of your hair, and then when you're looking at other things, which there are some really good things out there, at least you know what it's doing for your hair, and if you need it, because not everybody needs everything.
Yeah, some people are putting on the creams, the oil, the what is this? The foam gel. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, the mousse.
Mousse, that's it. The
Yeah,
mousse, everything.
Yeah, that's it.
So
but
what
you
are
need to understand what they mean or what all of those things are.
Yeah,
and that's partly what's in the book as well. It helps you to understand what's the difference between a mousse and a cream. What does the gel do? What does the mousse do? Because that's the other thing about, people think about, well, what do I do with my hair? What do I put on my hair?
I was thinking about the lock method before, but I think people need to read the book. If you're watching, you know what the lock method is, please put in the comments, what does lock stand for? LOC. If you're watching this and you find this of value and worth, please do send this out, invite your followers. I can't invite people at the moment because I can't see the broadcast. That would be amazing. Just to reset and start again, my name is Daniela Blechner, author, book journey mentor, founder of Conscious Dreams Publishing, and I am host of the Book Journey Mentor Show, which is the show that gives a voice to up-and-coming, established and new authors. And today I'm speaking with the amazing Sarah Roberts, author of You and Your Hair and founder of Saffron Jade. So tell us a little bit about Saffron Jade.
So I developed the brand Saffron Jade, and basically what the brand stands for is health and well-being for Afro-textured hair. And it's not just, so a lot of the time when we say Afro-textured hair, although it's the textured hair, we mean, so if you've got relaxed hair, the book works for you, my branding will work for you. So it is just really being passionate about Afro-textured hair, but also about from a holistic point of view. So not just about the hair, it's also about the person. So it's about the physical sense, it's about the spiritual sense, it's about the emotional sense, because, we are more than our hair. And although I believe your hair, you're connected to your hair and your hair's connected to you spiritually, you need to have a balance. So that's something that's also in the book. So that's what the brand is about. So, I've got a natural hairspray that I kind of developed way before the book to help with our hair's dryness.
I've got some, I can recommend it. Thank you.
But the brand is just really all about the health and well-being of Afro-textured hair and wanting to support the community for us to really look at the relationship that we have with our hair. That's really important to me because the relationship that we have with our hair has an impact on how we treat our hair. And when I talk about a relationship, I mean not just the physical relationship in terms of the care or not that you do to your hair, but also the emotional connection with your hair. Some people think their hair's really ugly and they hide it away. And so it's really about the holistic view of everything about your hair and that connection to our identity and culture.
So reframing how some people may perceive their hair.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that actually, because at the same time we also published a book called Curly Kyla by Sophia Myers, and it was a children's book based on this young child with like the most gorgeous afro curls, and she's told to her hair must be slicked back for a ballet class. and it's about actually understanding there's power and strength in her Afro hair. And it was inspired because she was meeting so many young children who didn't like their hair, who hated their hair. I found my hair tough because my hair was really curly, and I do remember growing up and seeing my friends who were allowed to have their hair relaxed and feeling a little bit jealous. Do you think that there is a problem? Do you think things have changed from, first of all, you know, maybe us growing up and how we may have perceived our hair, and how our young children are now? And have you met any children who have also had a similar issue? They didn't like their hair.
I definitely think that things are changing. I don't think we're where we need to be. So when you look at the school children or the teenagers, and you know, my youngest child is 13. So I definitely see a lot more young people and children enjoying their textured hair, their naturally Afro-textured hair, you know, and enjoying the braids and the flat. So I definitely feel that we've moved away from only wanting straight hair. And if you want straight hair, that's fine. Like the book also says it's not about me, you know, hating on relaxed hair. If that's what you're comfortable with and that's what you want. My my book and inspiration is just about understanding that you do have really beautiful naturally textured hair, but you don't always see it. And so part of the issue of the children actually more falling in love with their hair is that we are trying to, I think, as an older generation of parents, aunties, uncles, you know, godparents, we're trying to at least give that love about hair to young people because we don't want them to go through what we went through in terms of really being negative about our hair and hating our hair and not really liking our hair. And you know, and there's lots of really good things going on in terms of, I mean, when you look on the TV now, you see a lot of images, adverts with black families with curly hair, with Afro hair. We never saw that before. So things are definitely changing. But I think the main worry for me is that we still are not a place where we know how to look after our hair. So if you don't know how to look after your hair and you don't know what the best version looks like, you're not going to like what it looks like if it does look dry and brittle and it's not doing things that you want it to do. And I think that's part of why I wrote the book, because my hair has changed like beyond all recognizable of what my hair was before. Like, so I've got like super curly hair now, but you only see your curls. So people often say to me, "Oh, your hair was always like that," and I said, "No, I don't tell lies. I'm telling you, my hair wasn't like this before." And the reason why they say, "But I don't have any curls." Everybody has curls, but if you are not washing and conditioning your hair regular and leaving in that conditioner to soften your hair, you don't see the curls. That is the issue. So a lot of us are walking around having no idea what your real curly, beautiful hair looks like no idea. And when I get people to start the regime and they say to me, "I don't have any curls, I don't have any curls," and I say to them, "Look, just follow the book." Because that's what I did when I found the book. I said, just have an open mind and follow the book. Because within 3 months of doing what the book tells you to do, your hair's gonna change. Even before 3 months. But I say to people, give it 3 months that you can say, you know what, I'm gonna follow what the book says. Because in 3 months, you're gonna see hair that you don't even recognize. And so for young people, that's part of the inspiration of the book, is that if we start to look after our children's hair, how with the new information that we've got about what our hair needs, their hair will be super curly and change. They're not going to really necessarily want relaxed hair because they can't see it, a type of hair that they might think they like or not like. That's why they're saying, "Well, I want this." We're not knowing the true beauty of your hair, because everybody's excited when they see the true version of their hair. And I'm talking about over 100 women in my years and years of like at work. You know, I used to do hair forums at work way before the book, and that's the thing. People used to say to me, I used to just do hair forums, and it was by accident. Because I used to always be talking about hair. People used to say, "Oh, have a lunch break," and we'd have a lunch, and before you knew it, it would fly around the council, and everybody would turn up every month. We like had 20, 30, 40 people. People would be like, "What is going on?"
Wow, this really has been the journey.
Things are changing, but we do need to just start understanding how to look after our hair, because you will see a different version of your hair.
I have to know what my hair looks like. I thought I
You
knew.
would
Now
be
I'm thinking maybe
amazed.
it doesn't look like that.
You will. The thing is, you will be amazed because if you're not washing and conditioning your hair at least every 2 weeks and leaving in the conditioner, yeah, and leaving in the conditioner for at least 20, 30 minutes, your curls won't come through because what happens is that within the cortex of our hair, it is fundamentally dry, but obviously you can't see it unless you had a microscope. So,
Mm,
so the hair that you're looking at is going to look normal to you because that's the hair that you've always seen. But, it's not actually the true version of your hair until you start doing those things. So that's why I say to people, do that for 3 months and you start seeing these curls and you literally start to think, where is this hair coming from? I've never seen this hair. Because your curls can then start to come through, but they can't come through when they're dry because our hair is fundamentally dry. And because a lot of us have been taught, to run away from water,
yeah.
and not wash and condition our hair. So a lot of the information about our hair has been lost. Because I'm sure a lot of women look at all of those women with curly hair and think, well, how come they all got these curls? Where are they coming from? Because when you look around, you see a lot more people with curly hair than you did 5, 6 years ago, lots more. And so, but what people still think is that their hair is naturally like that, not that they've discovered their real curls. That's what it is.
Mm.
That's and like I'm never more excited until someone phones me up or they message me and they normally take a picture of the curls because they can see them coming through and they're like, oh my gosh, I've got curls, and I'm like, I told you. That's
Oh
how I
my
felt.
God. I mean, my hair's thick and curly, but it doesn't stay like that. So I'll be interested. I'll give it a go. For more
Yeah.
information, go to You and Your Hair for those tips. If you want to know what your natural curls look like, this is the book to get. We're going to put the links in the comments. If you have any questions for Sarah, or perhaps any comments about your own hair, whether you're watching now or on the replay, please do put them up. That would be amazing. Tell us about some of your biggest transformations then.
What in terms of?
So people that you've worked with or people that you've advised and their hair has
Okay, so
changed.
there's in regards to their hair. So
Yeah.
there's a few transformations. So the most transformation in regards to people seeing their naturally curly hair has been for women that insist, I don't have curly hair, my hair's not like that. They just literally do not believe it. They just do not believe it. And so they follow the regime, they're washing and conditioning their hair weekly, using the conditioner, using a healthy conditioner also, because that's the other thing that the book teaches you is that it's just like if you're going to eat unhealthy foods, your body's going to be unhealthy. It's the
Mm,
same with your hair. Products are food for your hair, and if you're not using healthy products, in fact, some of the products are damaging your hair and stopping you from getting your curls because they dry out your hair. So a lot of the problems is not only about what you're doing to your hair and not doing, it's what you're putting on your hair. Just
mm.
like if for example, if you didn't cream your skin, can you imagine? Don't cream your skin for weeks, a good few weeks. Don't cream your skin. It's going to get all dry and crackly, isn't
Oh,
it?
I couldn't do that.
So that's what you're doing to your hair. When you're not washing and conditioning your hair, the same concept is that's what you're doing to your hair. It's just getting dry inside, but you don't see it, so you don't actually know it. So a lot of the transformation has been about people seeing their curls, their natural curls. And once you see your natural curls, you can then set them with a mousse or a gel, but your hair has to be wet. That's the thing. So, you have to learn how to set your curls, but getting your curls is the most important bit because once you get your curls, it's easy to set your curls. That's one transformation. Another one is where I've had people like with a lot of hair problems where their hair's been so dry and brittle, they've got like patches of alopecia. And those ones have been caused from their lack of care, not necessarily, about an illness or an issue of stress. It's about the lack of care. So a lot of people also have dry patches. And so I had one woman and she was in her 50s and she called me from somebody else and someone said, oh, someone said you might can help me. So the thing that I always go through with people, the first thing I say is, okay, send me a picture of everything that you're using, and then they send me their products. And then I say to them, what is your regime? What do you do to your hair every week? And a lot of the time, they're not doing washing and conditioning. They're not doing that. And so I give them a regimen, and I say, right, you're going to wash, condition your hair, and you're going to use these products. So I say to them, use these products because they're the most healthy products. And also you'll get to see the benefits of your hair. And there was one woman even I was surprised for her, within about 4 weeks. So she had lots of patches and she used to wear a wig. And she said, I just want to take off my wig. She said, I don't even really, she said, it's not about long hair. I just want healthy hair. She said, because I always say to people, do you want length? I said, don't get me wrong, you should have health, but do you want length and health, or are you just about health? Because some people are not bothered about length, they just want health. And she said, I just want healthy hair. And so she started doing a regime and she started being consistent. And I said to her that you have to promise me that you're going to be consistent for at least 3 months. And by those 3 months, she never had no patches in her hair. All the patches had got hair and she had hair. And like now, when she sends me updates, she had about maybe an inch of hair because it was so much patches, she kept it low. And now she's got, oh my gosh, she's probably got about 6 inches of hair.
Wow.
And it looks so healthy. And I mean, she's just so grateful, but it's not about people being grateful to me. That's like I said, I get as much from people as they get from me because I just like seeing people happy and we're so connected to our hair. It does, I see people, when they're crying about their hair and they're really upset about how their hair looks, and it's like, she's just like, oh my gosh, it's amazing because now she mixes up all these other natural stuff that I don't even do. And she's like, oh, she's really gone to town. But it's because she's seen the benefits to her hair. So she has no patches in her hair. She has, where she had an inch of hair, she's got now about 6 inches of hair. And she does a lot of protective styling. And she's I don't know, I can't remember, I think she's from Ghana. So she does a lot of threading to her hair. So she does a lot of the African traditions. And she says, I've gone back to what I kind of knew, but I just fell away from it. And so it's amazing for her to see. And she's saying her family and friends cannot believe the transformation.
There's like a sense of empowerment as well, like taking your health back into your own hands and your self-care as well. I guess they go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
So what has been the feedback of your book been? Because I know you've sold a lot of copies of this. So what have they been saying, and have they left reviews on Amazon and Goodreads?
So I've only got 22 reviews, but it's still good. So I say to people,
not been out that long, so 22 is actually quite good.
Yeah, and people say please do a review, and it's and they're mainly 5 stars. I think I've got like a couple of 4, but mainly 5 stars. The biggest I think feedback, or one of the main feedbacks that I get, is that the book is easy reading. And so that's good feedback for me because that was my intention. Because I know that, people love reading, but not people. I don't know if people really think, oh, I'm going to buy a book about hair and read it. But I mean, we both love reading, so I don't understand people that don't like reading because I love reading. But I do know that a lot of people, they say, I don't like reading. So I didn't want the book to be too long because I wanted people to read the whole book. And I knew that if they picked up, and I wanted it to have visual in there.
Yeah. It's really straightforward to read and visually beautiful. We've got lots of nice presentations in there. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted. And they said it's really easy reading, and they like the color in there. It kind of more inviting. I wanted there to be kind of like a connection, emotional connection when you're reading the book as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they like the note page that you just showed. So
that's
really good. Yeah, they said, oh, I really like the note page. But it's very easy reading. It hasn't. What I've understood from doing all the consultations is that people don't really want to hear all the science bit too much. They just want to know, what do I need to know, basics. So yeah, for me, it's the easy reading, easy to follow, and very inviting in terms of how it is. And the book's not long, so it's not going to take you a long time to read it. So I deliberately tried not to have it too long, but I needed you to have the information because I know that people didn't want to read a hair book, like a big hair book. That's what I knew that. Because I had friends that said that, you know, I don't want to know. If I picked up the book and it had too many pages, they said I wouldn't read it. Yeah. It's not like it's a novel.
So Joe says, hey ladies, I rocked my throat 3 weeks ago. I saw that picture. It looked lovely, Joe.
Oh, thank you. Hi.
So it was National Afro Hair Day yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah. It's the third year now, isn't it? Started in 2017.
I think so.
September 2017 it started. I remember. I was super excited when I heard about it.
Yeah. Do you think more people are embracing their natural hair now? Definitely the afros.
I think people are, but there's still so I think people are connecting back with their hair and their Afro-textured hair and embracing the beauty of it. But I think part of that is, you know, all thanks to YouTube as well, because people started doing a lot of things and posting, and you saw all of these people with this beautiful, healthy looking hair, and you're thinking, how did they get that? And that's how it all started, because people were showing people visually what your hair could look like, and you saw the changes. I know that when I started learning 10, 11 years ago, and I saw the pictures of the before and after on YouTube, I was like, oh my gosh, is that the same hair? So that amazement is, so people are seeing that actually, if I'm looking after my hair and understanding my hair, what my hair needs, my hair is actually beautiful. It's not this dry hair that people often say difficult to manage, because once you understand your hair and you know what it needs, it's not actually difficult to manage. But I haven't used a comb in my hair for about, unless I blow dry my hair, which I haven't blow dried my hair for about 3 years. So probably in the last 10 years, I haven't used a comb at all in 10 years.
But have you used an afro comb?
Nothing, no comb. I don't use a comb at all.
What, your fingers or?
Yeah, my fingers. I don't use a
comb.
Because I know how to look after my hair. I can easily detangle my curls with the conditioner, and then like set my hair. I wash my hair in sections, in plaits, so my hair doesn't. I know how to not get tangled. Yeah. So you don't actually even need to use a comb once you start to look after your hair. I mean, some of my friends still use a comb. You can use a comb, but so long as you don't use those combs with the tiny little spikes, because they break your hair, pull your hair. Yeah, so you use a wide tooth comb, but I don't personally use a comb.
Yeah, I've never used a tiny fine comb to go.
No.
Joanna said, how do you deal with it after washing? I think you were talking about conditioning. Joanna asked, how do you deal with it after washing? But I think you were speaking about conditioning earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, you have to. The thing about washing your hair is that you should if your hair is long enough, you should wash your hair in sections. So I wash my hair like in 6 plaits. I don't wash my hair, all of my hair out, because our hair is naturally curly and it will tangle. So what you do is you put your hair in 6 sections, and then you wash your hair in the loose plaits or the loose twists. You know, you massage your scalp, you wash your hair, you rinse your hair, you put the conditioner in those sections, you put it back in the plaits or the twist. So every time when you're washing your hair, so by the time you finish your hair's in these 6 sections that are detangled. You know, so, and because obviously, and you should never wash your hair without using a conditioner, because conditioner softens your hair. And leave that conditioner in for at least 20 minutes, because especially depending on the porosity of your hair, it's just like when you're seasoning up your meat. If you put season on your meat straight away, it's going to taste okay, but it's not going to taste the same as if you seasoned it a few hours or the night.
Marinate and
that's what the conditioner. That's it. That's the conditioner does that for our hair. The conditioner softens our hair. It's like a relaxer for our curls, and it softens. It takes out the knots. So after you should wash your hair in sections and condition it in sections, and then when you finish washing those sections, then you can just do the lock method with the sections. So it's easy, and that's what it is. If you're not understanding how to do your hair, it does seem like hard work. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, I can't be dealing with my hair because it's difficult. But it's only difficult because nobody's showed you the methods in how to do your hair easily. So wash your hair in sections.
I think a YouTube video of that would be great. I think definitely.
I know. Do you know what everyone says to me? You should do the visual. I'm terrible at. I keep saying I should do some, and I probably will. But do you know what it is? There's so many on YouTube that you can go and see. There are so many.
But we want to see your one. You know.
I know. Well, that's what I'm beginning to understand. So probably I will do
step by step, breaking it down so we can just follow along as well. So yeah, definitely, I'm going to be on you about that. So let's talk about the inner workings. What are the inner workings behind sort of publishing a book? Tell the people how did you find the journey? What would you advise other people? Tell all.
Well, the first thing that I would advise is obviously go to Daniela because it's correct, because obviously when I was thinking about and I wanted to write a book and somebody recommended you to me, somebody sent me your link and said, this person, and like I said to you, I watched a video and saw that you've done a video about hair when you was younger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, oh my gosh, this must be fake. This must be the person. Yeah. And so I booked a slot with you. And what you did for me, because obviously it's all over the place in your mind, and you kind of know what you want. But what you did for me is you gave me that brief 30 minutes and you spoke to me about my ideas. And then I never forget, you said to me, right, look at how many chapters. And you said, write the chapters like they're almost small pieces. So the advice that you gave me about the chapters and about how to start writing it, that's what helped me, because I went away and thought, right, I'm going to think about what chapters I want, what the headings are going to be, and then start to think about what's going to be in the chapters. So that's the first thing. The consultation really does help. And then after that, like even I used to link with you, didn't I? I used to message you, and you used to, and it was good because you used to motivate me. I used to say, I'm still writing my book, but I'm taking long. I'm still writing my book. And you used to be like, yeah, can't wait to see it. And I thought it took me like, I think a year after that or something. And I felt like it was forever because I so desperately wanted to write it, but nothing before its time. Yeah. And so, that journey of then finally finishing it. But before I get to the journey of the publishing bit that you support with, that I'll talk to people, is that you need to dedicate the time and the space and say, right, I'm going to set some time away, because otherwise it is really difficult for you to finish your book, especially if you, like me, you've got family, you've got work, you've got life. And so I started to say, right, every Thursday after work is going to be my book time, and then Saturday I'm going to do for you. So I started carving out time. And then when I did finally finish the draft and I sent it to Daniela, to her company, to Conscious Dreams Publishing, that's when the process started of obviously the editing. I didn't even know so much work went into the editing. I was like, oh my gosh, wowee. Like, it's a lot of, she's got a fantastic editor, the typesetter, all of these new things for me. But yes, the team does then help you. The team really does help you. And you start to see your book come alive. And then obviously they speak to you about, are you happy with this? And then you can go back and you might can change things. So you're very much involved in the process and learning. And for me, it was new learning. So some of the things, obviously, I'd go back to Danielle and say, oh, no, I want that in my book. And then she would explain to me, yep, maybe you can have this in your book. Or like, I wanted color, didn't I? That was so important. And you said to me, color's more money. And I was like, I have to have color.
When she means more money, that the print cost is higher. So if you're printing, it doesn't cost more money to add the color in. But then if your print cost is high, you've got to set the price of your book higher, which might outsell some of your clients. But then your royalties are going to be really slim.
Yeah, but color was like an absolute, like for me, I knew that I had to have color. But just all the support that you get from when you're, exactly. It's just the support that you get when you're going through that journey. And it is quite exciting, especially if it's your first book, because you're learning as well. And then, oh my gosh, when you see your book, when you actually see your book, it is a really weird feeling that you actually, like, it's still really weird sometimes to think that I've actually finished a book as well, because I never really, although I love reading, I never really thought over the years, oh, I'm going to write a book. You know, it wasn't like that. It's only obviously about hair, but I never thought in the past that I'm going to, because I probably only thought about books as writing a novel. That's what it is. But, you know, your company shows you that actually you've got a story to tell, you've got something to share that people want to hear about. So, and I'm sure that's the beauty of your company as well.
Thank you so much. And your cover is absolutely beautiful. I love it. So many people come around because people know that I obviously have the bookshelves in the background. I've got all the book covers, and people often like look at them all, and it's interesting watching which ones they'll pick out.
Yeah.
But this one is beautiful. A lot of people have come around. Can I borrow it? And I'm like, no, you can get it from the shop. So Joanna says, I chose colour. It did set my book off my book that does reduce profit. It's worth it to have the book you want. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my first book were also in colour because I just wanted it. That was the look that I wanted, and that was important. Kind of weighing it up against the other. So just to finish off, what are your parting words to people who, okay, let's say someone who wants to write a book, or maybe set up a business, or they've got a dream and they've just been sitting on it and thinking, or maybe it's like they want to take their health into their own hands, or their hair care into their own hands, and they're just kind of procrastinating and not doing anything about it. What would you say to them?
I would say just start writing down your ideas and just start. So if it's about you wanting to write a book, I said just get a notebook and start putting down your notes, book a consultation with Daniela so that and just let her talk through some of the ideas, because it just might help you. It will motivate you and give you a steer in the right direction. And then just get a notebook and start writing. And that's how I started. And everyone said, how do you get to write a book when you've got family and you've got work? And I said, I would write when I'm cooking. I'd have my notebook everywhere. I'd put my notes down, and that's all I did. And then at some point, I think, right, I need to turn these notes into chapters. So that's what I would say as advice. And in regards to your hair, you know, the first thing I would say is dedicate and commit to your hair and say, do you know what? I'm gonna really commit to giving some love and care to my hair. And, you know, thinking about, let me have a regime and try it and stick to it for at least a few weeks to see that change in your hair. You know, even if you might be thinking, well, I can't afford the book, but I've got a website and I put blogs on there, and you can message me. So yes, I would love you to write my book, but if you couldn't even afford my book, I've got a website that you could email me. I'm always happy to give advice.
Details?
So my website is www.saffronjade.co.uk.
Perfect. I have put that
and
there.
People can message me there for advice. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What's next for you, Sarah? I know you had your book launch on the 13th. Do you have anything else coming up? Any other books?
I've got another book event that I've done for November that I'm planning, and that's gonna be, so I'm gonna start doing events every 2 months, and what I'm gonna do is kind of just support people with different chapters of the book. So I'm gonna be starting with how do you develop a healthy hair regime to grow longer hair and have healthier hair. So people struggle with, well, what regime? So that's what the focus of my next event's gonna be on, and then I'm gonna probably do one about hair loss and hair damage. I'm just going to do smaller sections and break it down so that people can talk about different aspects and give some information and guidance. And all the events are free. And so yes, I look out for my next event in November.
Amazing. And if you have a link for that event, feel free to put that in the comments as well at the end of the broadcast. Sarah, you have been amazing. Where can we get your book from?
So you can get my book from Amazon, and you can also get my book. My book is also on my website as well. So yeah, just keep loving your hair, everybody.
Yay! Well, this isn't my hair, but maybe I should just take it out and start with my hair. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Sarah, you have been amazing.
Thank you.
Tune in next Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. EST. Oh my gosh. Well, I'll be interviewing the awesome, amazing Rio Merricks, who is a poet and also known as the Awakened Woman, who is launching her book on the 28th of September called When in the Wilderness. I don't have a proof copy yet. I hope you can get it tomorrow. Yeah, look out for it. She'll be doing her very first interview on Wednesday. So see you then from me, Daniela, and from
Sarah. Thank you so much. Bye.
No worries. Bye.
Bye. Bye.